There's a tragic tale in history of the king Sisyphus who tricked a bunch of gods. And after tricking the multitude amount of gods and getting one over on the gods, he was forced to be put down with Hades and push a boulder up a hill over and over and over again. This was his punishment for tricking the gods over and over again. However, this tale has a more important message outside of getting one over on mythical forces. Sisyphus and himself and pushing up the boulder. Every single instance he would get closer, the edge would get further away, and he'd roll back down the hill and keep pushing over and over again. Crazy workout, one might say, or immense torture. Constantly doing it, not knowing what the end is going to be. One must imagine that Sisyphus is happy. You ever went to work and you think to yourself, man, what's the point of all this garbage, man? This is a bunch of BS, dude. This is garbage. I hate every second of this. And you're thinking to yourself, I just eat to sleep and I drink water to piss. Oh, this is garbage. I hate every second of this. This is ass. What am I going to do? What's next? What is next? What do I do next? What's up? What's going on? I got a career, but I'm not satisfied in it. Maybe I pick up a hobby. You pick up a hobby. Maybe you pick up paper cranes. Learn how to make 1,000 paper cranes. You can get a wish. And then you get done with that paper crane. So what's after that? Okay, I'm going to learn how to jog. I'm going to jog and you work out. But what if you get shot? Then all this working out is worthless. And oh my God, this is stupid. Everything is so absurd. It's so absurd how we exist, right? And this is the main principle of absurdism. To try your best in every capacity to figure out why we're here and to realize that as soon as you figure out your place in the universe, it's shifted a little bit and that place gets destroyed and all your reasoning can get destroyed. Every single time we discover a new object in space, we discover that it breaks the laws of physics. Every single time. Oh, that broke the law of physics. That doesn't make any sense. Wait a second. We just found a colossal squid, the biggest invertebrate. We found another colossal squid. That's crazy. My understanding of the world is shattered. For so long, we thought we were the center of the universe, and then we discovered that we're not even close to the center. We don't even know where we're at coordinate-wise. We may be the center of our solar system, but I mean, that's true. The Andromeda galaxy is so much bigger than we could possibly fathom. We're discovering new planets within the Andromeda as we speak right now. That's how much we don't know. And the more we discover how much our place doesn't matter. It's goofy, it's dumb, and I hate every second of it, but I also love it because absurdism is realizing all those things, everything that is masterful with the disgusting nature of how weak we are as human beings, and then looking back and coalescing and realizing, oh, that's the point. The point is that there's no point. You must make meaning within itself. And sometimes when you're forced to be the boss of your own meaning, you discover that you're a really shit employee. You discover that, oh my goodness, I can't make my own hours. When do I give myself PTO? When do I decide where my paychecks go? And you get really upset by this. You get really drained thinking to yourself, so I have to decide what my life means? That's stupid. Yes, you have to decide what it all means. For everyone, it's different. Some people find meaning in the small interactions they have with their child or their loved ones. Some people find meaning in the fact they are platinum in League of Legends. Some people find meaning in all their accomplishments and accolades on Steam. Some people find meaning in their legs and how amazing they are and how high they can jump. Some people find meaning when she wakes up in the morning and she looks beautiful and you see the sun coalesce upon her beautiful brown eyes, and you think of her in her weakest moments and you think of her in her strongest moments and you remember how much you love her. And some of us find meaning when you look at him and realize that his arms are strong and he keeps you safe. And you know that no matter what happens, that you two can work through anything bad that ever happens because he has tried his best and you are trying your best, and you find meaning in that. And you find romance in everything. You want war, you want death, you want chaos, you want struggle. You want these things, you want love. And that is where you find meaning. And this is Absurdism 101. You have to find it. A lot of people often miscategorize absurdism, saying that there's no point. So you should accept that there's no point and keep going and pretend. Everybody is pretending that everything matters. That's what everybody's doing, and saying, okay, it's the great pretending of the world. We're all pretending that everything matters and everything's important, and we know it's pointless and meaningless, and we know our point in the universe is nonsense, and we know that it doesn't matter, so we don't have to try. So that's okay. Well, actually, we do have to try because we have to pretend, and everybody's pretending, and it's so fun, and we're all just having a hoot and henny and a party, and it's so great. No, that's not what we're doing. We are supposed to find the meaning. There is hope in the world, and you have to be that hope. You have to be that resolute rock that pushes past and destroys and annihilates everything inside of your path and puts it and makes it a part of yourself. Because what are we if not a culmination of all of our people we've met in our lives? We are a culmination of trauma, love. We are a combination of the foods we eat. We are a coalition of millions of experiences all coalesced into one beautiful, amazing human being that we all share unique experiences with, and you can put your own unique perspective out in the world. Some people take this as an avenue of hate, and they make their meaning being hateful towards a certain group of people, whether that be trans people, whether that be Jewish people, whether that be black people, whether that be white people. They make that their entire identity, and they use that as a stepping stool to destroy, divide, and conquer. And they use that to rage people, make them baited into what it is, trolling people along onto their fishing line to get them into an argument because that makes them feel good, and that is what their purpose is. Some people like to educate. They look at the world around them, the greater narrative of what everything is, and they say to themselves, I'm going to learn. And I know that my learning in itself is worthless, but I feel it matters. You see, this is what people think separates them from the rest of the world. They think it separates them from the entirety of the spectrum of every creature on the planet. It's our ability to feel. We've discovered that lobsters, squids, and things of that variety can feel. We're so shocked that other creatures can feel. It feels like we've discovered something amazing when it's not out of this world to discover things can feel. One day we might discover that cats have a consciousness. They just don't care about it because they rely more on their instinct. We may discover that one day, and we may say to ourselves, wait a second, they have a consciousness? This is so crazy. We may discover that one day. And would that change the meaning of existence? Would that change how you view the world? It might. And that's good. That means you're learning and growing and changing. And that's what it means, because the only way to grow as a human being is to be uncomfortable. And there's a lot of uncomfortable truths in this world, and it's going to suck to hear them. Firstly, to complain that your disability is stopping you from being a person, you still have to be a person. Hard, uncomfortable truth. And it sucks. If you are a black person and you think you are owed something, you are not, and the world will not cater to you. And that's an uncomfortable truth. If you're a white and you believe that you didn't do anything wrong in totality, you probably didn't, realistically, not at all. Your family might have done something wrong, who knows? And you feel like you're being blamed, guess what? That's societal norms. You have to deal with that. And you may view that as a disadvantage, but guess what? No one cares. You have to care about it. That is absurdism. You having to care about your actual existence and your place in it. That's what it means to be here. And it's gonna suck ass. Cause you could tell me all the complexities of gender dysphoria. You could tell me all the beautiful things about Nazis. You could tell me all the great things about them. You could tell me the amazing things about a video game that I don't care for. You could do that. I'm not gonna feel the same way at all, because I can't feel what you feel. I can only hope that you can convey that message so I can, in some way, try my best to relate to it, so that I can find my own meaning within it. It's so absurd to do so. That is absurdism. That is what it means to be bricked deeply in the middle of the universe. I was talking to one of my friends recently, and this is very important to me. She is going through a horrifying battle with getting kicked out of her house, and she's having the worst time of her life. She came to me and said, could I live with you? I said, no, I do not want you to live with me. And she said, is it because I'm trans? Now, this is very important. No idea that she was trans. Had no clue about that. I said, I didn't know you were trans. And she said, you couldn't tell? I said, no clue. Didn't really care. And she said, it's a big part of who I am. I said, that's good. I'm happy it's a part of who you are, but I didn't know about this. Well, thank you for letting me know. You still can't live with me. And she said, it's very unsafe for me to be on these streets homeless as a trans woman. I said, that's understandable, and I grasped that. I'm so sorry that you have to go through that. However, I cannot hyperimpose your views on me. I cannot change my entire life for you. I can't do that. I apologize. I hope you mean well, and I hope things are good for you. She then proceeded to yell at me, angry, vitriolic, just shouting and all that jazz, till her throat went hoarse. She cried on my shoulder for 2 hours. I then helped her apply for a loan, and she was able to get enough money to keep her apartment and actually pay 2 months ahead of time. And I got her a stable job at a factory that was up the street from her household. She doesn't have a car, so she can walk there. It's about a 7-minute walk. And I spoke to the manager, and we had a great conversation, and I basically helped her get her life back on track. And that was very good. I enjoyed that. She tried to apologize for everything that she has said to me, and I said, don't apologize because I don't care. But her meaning in this existence, what is resolute, her principle, her morals, what gives her purpose, is to make sure people know her true character. Her true character is not angry. She was just in a moment of weakness, and that's fair. And I, in my principles and morals, believe that most people, you see their most true self, the best version of themselves, even the worst version of themselves, when they're put under immense pressure. You get to see what those morals and principles and values mean. And I had shaken her reality with me saying that back to her upon her trying to apologize to me. This was my meaning being hyperimposed, my reality being put onto her. This is what it was. That was my meaning. That was my point in this argument. That was my point of the story. You may be asking yourself, why did I tell that story? That's to show the shifting perspective in how I operate. I also didn't do any of the things I did out of the goodness of God, out of the goodness of good nature, out of the goodness of goodwill in any capacity. I did it because she was fucking annoying. That's it. That's my purpose behind it. That's my meaning. You can gauge my actions and say, well, it's good overall, it has a net positive effect. No. I don't want to view it that way. You are pushing your reality onto me the same way I push my reality onto her. But I reject that. And that is beautiful. That goes to show that we each have our own reality in this world. And it's okay to disagree. It's okay to not relate. It's okay to not be here all the time, to dissociate, to not feel like you're actively a part and a member of this reality. That is the beauty of what it means to be absurd. It seems crazy. It seems stupid to do so, but that is the main principle of absurdism. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck when you thought that humans were the center of everything, when you thought that you were handpicked by God, and to realize at the end of the day, what about the people that don't believe in God? Did they go to heaven? What about people that do good things and don't believe in God? Did God guide them? Well, they probably did because God made everything, huh? Right? Yes. If you want to believe that, that's all you. But someone on the other side of the world, you know what they're going to believe? That their God did that. Another person going to believe that their God did that. And everybody has different moralistic views and values. And there is no objective truth. And that's going to suck. Even my own statements in themselves are going to contradict and run over each other. Even that is subject to change. All of it is. And that is absurdism. That is what it is. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Yes, you must be happy doing the task of learning. You cannot hope for the end goal every time. You cannot hope to get to the end of meaning every time. There is no end of meaning. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. But that does not mean to give up. That does not mean to pretend. Fully invest yourself in it. Fully invest in be there. Fully invest and activate. I have a video that I'm probably going to make one of these days about the complexities of how AI is active. I do not think AI is sentient in any capacity, but I do have conversations with ChatGPT that are more intricate and more welcoming than most conversations I have with most people that I encounter. I do have conversations that make me feel great. I do have moments in my life that make me feel outstanding when speaking to something that is not sentient or real, despite the fact that it's just predicting your next word. But it feels real to me. And I have a video that I'll probably make about that one day. About how, if it's real to me, isn't it real? Right? I feel that. If it's real to you, it should be real. If you enjoy crocheting and making small little intricate concoctions, whether they be blankets or little hats for cats, if you enjoy taking apart computers and rebuilding them, if you enjoy electrical work or plumbing or your McDonald's job or working with kids, or even if you enjoy just sleeping, taking a 6-hour nap at 3 p.m., you're fine. It seems absurd to say so, but that is the absurdism. Be the chaotic God that you were meant to be. Be chaos, be free, be loved, be kind, be well, be clever, be outstanding. I love you, even if you don't know it. And if you haven't heard today, thank you for existing. Have a lovely day or night, wherever you are. Goodbye.
I'm your Nick at night, be my Laurel, use low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you're free.